This is your news source evening bulletin for today, Wednesday, the 19th day of October in the year 2022. I'm Gordon Mosley reporting, and here's what we're tracking tonight. The Caribbean Court of Justice today ruled that the Guyana Court of Appeal had no jurisdiction to entertain the appeal in elections petition case number 99, which was dismissed by the acting Chief Justice Roxanne George last year on the grounds of a technicality. The ruling effectively means that Petition 99, which the coalition saw as the base of its claims that fraud was committed during the last elections, can no longer be heard by the Court of Appeal. Back in July, the CCJ heard arguments for the case challenging whether the Guyana Court of Appeal has the jurisdiction to hear and determine the appeal, which was filed to challenge the dismissal of the APNU-AFC's election petition 99 of 2020. The Court of Appeal had ruled that it can entertain the appeal filed by the petitioners. In delivering the decision today, the Caribbean Court of Justices, Justice Winston Anderson, said that the High Court has exclusive jurisdiction to hear and determine election petition matters. He explained that although Article 163 of the Guyana Constitution gives the right to appeal a decision of the High Court, dismissal on the grounds of a technicality does not fall within that right.
It could not be accepted that proceedings which began in the High Court under this exclusive, exclusionary, and special jurisdiction for dealing with election petitions suddenly transmogrified into ordinary civil law proceedings on appeal.
The Chief Justice of Guyana had dismissed the elections petition case because of late service and former President David Granger. The CCJ said that because Mr. Granger was an interested party in the matter, he should have been served within the stipulated 5 days, as set out by the Constitution. Justice Anderson said election petition matters must be resolved in strict compliance with the Constitution.
Neither is it permissible to depart from or import into, by implication, a jurisdiction not created in the article. The court emphasized that Article 163.3 circumscribes the right to appeal decisions of the High Court in election petitions to only 2 circumstances. The Chief Justice struck out the petition on the basis that there was improper or late service on Mr. Granger. Her decision did not fall into either of those 2 circumstances, and thus no appeal was possible.
In January, Acting Chancellor of the Judiciary, Justice Janet Cummings, granted a motion filed by the Attorney General and the attorneys for the Vice President Barra Jagdeo for leave to appeal the court's decision to the CCJ. The judge had also granted a stay of the appeal court's judgment. By way of a majority ruling, the appeal court had said that it has jurisdiction to entertain the appeal challenging the Chief Justice's decision to dismiss the petition. With the election petition case 99 now shut down, the other petition case remains before the appeal court. The local court is to begin hearing the matter soon. More news coming up in just a moment.
It's been a long time coming. Overdue, some might say. But now that it's here, it will change life forever. And it is here to stay. The future is now. Transforming Guyana into the 21st century. Introducing GTT Fiber. Experience internet connectivity like never before. Speeds you deserve at prices you can afford from a name you can trust. Sign up today. GTT Fiber is here. GTT. Together, we rise faster.
Office Max, We're all about customer satisfaction, whether it's clothing and shoes for the ladies, gents, and kids, or for the latest electronics or hardware appliance. We're always thinking of satisfying you, our dear customers. Now you can shop online at www.giftlandofficemax.com or visit us at the Giftland Mall, where we're happy to serve each and every one of you.
Get in the game with Buster. Win a full gaming setup, Xbox X, gaming chair, gaming speaker and headset, or any of over 60 weekly prizes like Oculus Quest 2, Mini 2 drone, Nintendo Switch, and many more top gaming prizes. Check below for details.
Welcome back. Let's tell you now that the Caribbean Court of Justice hauled an absent Attorney General Anil Nandlal over the coals this morning over the premature release of the embargo decision of the court in the election petition case, several hours before the decision was scheduled to be handed down. On the Facebook page of the Attorney General on Tuesday, it was disclosed that the CCJ upholds the submissions in Petition 99 Court of Appeal decision reversed. The people won again. All of the attorneys in the matter were provided with an advance embargoed copy of the court's decision that they were asked not to share. The move by the Attorney General's team to publicize information from the ruling before this morning's hearing is not sitting well with the Caribbean Court of Justice. After handing down their decision this morning, the CCJ judges rebuked the actions of the Attorney General. Justice Jacob Witt said the draft judgment was dispatched to all lawyers in the case, as was the norm, and was never meant to be made public ahead of the ruling in any way or fashion. In registering the court's disappointment, Justice Witt said it was unacceptable.
I think we have expressed ourselves clearly enough to make it very clear that this is totally unacceptable, and any further action of the court will be contemplated. For example, is it possible in cases like this to send an advanced copy in Guyana? I mean, this is really serious business.
He also said going forward, the court will have to determine how it treats with the release of draft judgments the parties involved in the various cases before the court, when those parties are from Guyana.
It only comes to show how dangerous these things are. If we cannot have any trust in counsel or in the Attorney General's office, I'm not even speaking about the Attorney General himself, but you have to organize your stuff in a way that this cannot happen. That must be absolutely clear.
The Attorney General was not present during the hearing. However, the Solicitor General Nigel Hawke apologized to the court, saying it was a mistake by the administrator of the Attorney General's Facebook page, and there was no attempt to bring the court into disrepute.
Your Honor, first we'd like to place our sincere apology to the members of the court and to our learned colleagues. But what transpired, as I've instructed, and I should say that the learned and Honorable Attorney General was traveling and is on government business in Barbados, and I'm instructed that an unauthorized note, the judgment wasn't published, an unauthorized note was published on his Facebook page, and when it was brought to the attention, it was immediately pulled. We'd just like to say for the record that it was not the judgment. A note was placed on his Facebook about the judgment.
According to the Solicitor General, when the grave error was detected, the post was immediately removed. Attorney Selwyn Peters told the CCJ that the post made by the Attorney General's page brought the court into disrepute, as he referenced the comments that followed the post.
irrespective of whether it was the judgment itself, it was the content and the result of the judgment that was published. There was an implied undertaking. In Canada, where I also practice law, we actually signed an undertaking prior to the release of these judgments that are embargoed, but the CCJ's practice is not that. But the undertaking still remains. What that premature release did, it was shared all over the internet, and what it did is it put the administration of justice into disrepute. Because if your honors staff read the comments, it almost seemed like the Attorney General had some privy, but we were not allowed to say that all lawyers got an advance copy of that judgment. We were not allowed to comment on it, but the comments with respect to the CCJ was not comments that puts the CCJ in a positive light.
Mr. Peters said the premature release of the information put the administration of justice into question. The attorney also said the comments did not put the CCJ in any positive light. The court has demanded a public apology from the Attorney General. The Solicitor General, while apologizing to the court, also provided an undertaking that a public apology will be issued. The judges of the Caribbean Court of Justice said they will discuss the unacceptable incident among themselves further. The mother of one of the two Berbice teens who were found murdered 2 years ago has died suddenly. The woman, Patricia Henry, was holding out for justice for her son Isaiah Henry and his cousin Joel Henry. Their mutilated bodies were found in a West Coast Berbice bag dam. Family members said the mother never got over the grief of her son's death and became even more distraught when her eldest son was charged for what was seen as the retaliation murder of Harish Singh. The mother always maintained that her eldest son is innocent. Today, relatives said Patricia Henry grieved to death and died from a broken heart. It is suspected that she might have suffered a sudden heart attack. It was explained that she passed away on Tuesday night after collapsing at home. She once said the death of her son and his cousin took a big toll on the family and their lives would never be the same.
It's time to live it up with Rubis and win! Spend $4,500 or more in Ultratech fuel at any Rubis service station and get an entry card. Win one of 3 amazing grand prizes of $500,000 cash, $500,000 in Ultratech fuel, or $500,000 in groceries. Each week you could win fabulous weekly prizes including staycations, dinners, spa and fuel vouchers, cash, electronics, and more. Live it up with Rubis and make sure you're in with a chance to win!
counting way from region 1 to region 10, the whole country.
Well, this serves to inform you that I have just completed the census, which is ongoing in 2022. It is my view that a census is important. It will allow us to understand the demographics in Guyana, among other things. And therefore, it is in that context, I think it is opposite that I say to people, be part of the census, ensure you're counted. It will contribute to the kind of data that is needed to do the kinds of analysis and projections in a society like ours. And if properly used, it can contribute to good governance.
Everyone in the country, we counting.
Doors and windows, Republic. Rooms and more, Republic. A brand new rug on the floor. Come to Republic, come to Republic. Whatever you need, you got it. get your mortgage. Live the dream with Republic.
95 to 100% financing, 50% waiver of negotiation fees, plus one lucky person gets their mortgage paid in full. Turn someday into today. Talk to Republic Bank about your low-cost mortgage today.
Opposition leader and leader of the People's National Congress, Aubrey Norton, has expressed optimism that the coalition would do well at local government elections, although he's tight-lipped on the coalition's participation. The Guyana Elections Commission has indicated to the local government minister that it will be ready to host the elections between March and April next year. The opposition has been raising some concern about the voters list.
We know that there are many municipalities and NDCs that we will win. I notice you're linking it like to the national, regional and general elections. We will win those as well. The reason being the government itself and its incompetence alienating people, and therefore we have conditions propitious to a victory.
Mr. Norton said his party's position at this time is to work strategically as the local elections appear in the horizon.
We know we have to do our preparation, we will do that, but we will decide at the right time what we say in terms of participation or non-participation.
The opposition has accused the Elections Commission Secretariat of incompetence, saying that timelines for the holding of the elections continue to be shifted. The last time local government elections took place in Guyana was back in 2018 under the APNU AFC government. At that time, the AFC decided to contest the elections alone and had a very poor showing at the polls. Local private sector groups have applauded the move by the British government to lift the visa requirement for Guyanese who want to visit the United Kingdom. They believe it is an indication of the strength of Guyana's economy. With effect from the 9th of November, holders of Guyanese passports would not be required to have the visa to visit the United Kingdom. The announcement was made yesterday by the British High Commissioner to Guyana. In a statement, the Private Sector Commission commended the government of Guyana, particularly the President, for his leadership and initiative in aggressively pursuing the opportunity for Guyanese. The PSC said the move augurs well for both sides, noting that the decision demonstrates the strength of the Guyanese economy and signals the ease of travel, deepening of cooperation and collaboration between the UK and Guyana. They believe it will bring great value to the growing private sector. In a separate statement, the Georgetown Chamber of Commerce and Industry, while praising the government and the UK, said the GCCI had long lobbied for visa-free travel, pointing out that since 2019, the Chamber of Commerce made formal representation to the government of the UK to remove the requirement for Guyanese nationals to obtain a visa to enter the UK. In taking some credit, the Chamber of Commerce also said that its president, Timothy Tucker, has lobbied consistently for the removal of the visa restrictions. According to the Chamber of Commerce, the move will strengthen economic relations between Guyana and the UK. The Chamber said it is confident now more than ever that visa-free travel will foster, deepen economic relations and promote private sector development for both Guyana and the United Kingdom. Despite attempts by the Director of Public Prosecutions, Senior Counsel Shalimar Ali Hack, to have Magistrate Lerone Daly removed from hearing the Dion Bascom cybercrime case, the City Magistrate will be presiding over the case next year. A month ago, the DPP wrote the Acting Chancellor, Justice Janet Cummings, requesting that Senior Magistrate Lerone Daly be removed from hearing the cybercrime case against Detective Bascom. In the letter, the DPP said while she recognizes that the magistrate does not appear to have a personal interest in the matter, she complained that the conduct of the magistrate during one of the early hearings was sufficient reason for her to be removed from hearing the case. The DPP was apparently unhappy when the magistrate ordered the police legal advisor, Attorney Mandel Moore, to be removed from the court and taken into custody over his refusal to provide the court with a copy of the police press conference that saw a response to the cover-up claims made by the police sergeant Dion Bascom. When the matter was called yesterday, the magistrate was prepared to recuse herself from the matter, but she was instructed to continue hearing the case by the Chief Magistrate, who said the DPP's complaint did not provide any adequate reason or evidence for the magistrate to be removed, and that the Chancellor had not asked for the magistrate to be removed either. Magistrate Daly will commence the trial in the Bascom case next February. The DPP was heavily criticized by some attorneys over her actions, which sought to remove the magistrate.
We counting we from region 1 to region 10, the whole country.
We've just completed our census interview. It's quite a simple process. Whenever the team comes to your home, kindly cooperate and get the interview done, because it's also important for the information to be available to us as a government to plan and implement our programs and projects for the development of Guyana, a development that you will benefit from.
We counting we from region 1 to region 10, the whole country.
Food Max Supermarket, located on the ground floor of the Gippsland Mall, is your one-stop shop for all your grocery needs. We stock a variety of imported frozen meat and food products, fresh produce, and pet supplies, freshly made bread. Rotisserie chicken and patties are also available daily. Shop in comfort today at Food Max and let our courteous staff assist you in satisfying your shopping needs. Food Max, the fresh food specialist.
Rooms and more, Republic, a brand new rug on the floor. Come to Republic, come to Republic. Whatever you need, you got it. Come to and get your mortgage. Live the dream with Republic.
95 to 100% financing, 50% waiver of negotiation fees, plus one lucky person gets their mortgage paid in full. Turn some day into today. Talk to Republic Bank about your low-cost mortgage today.
Get in the game with Buster. Win a full gaming setup, Xbox X, gaming chair, gaming speaker and headset, or any of over 60 weekly prizes like Oculus Quest 2, Mini 2 drone, Nintendo Switch, and many more top gaming prizes. Check below for details.
Fuel it up and drive, Super 95. Tune up, fuel it up and drive, Super 95. Tune up. Protect your fuel system, boy. High mileage and performance, boy.
Guy Oil Super 95 gasoline gives you more reasons to drive and is available at 56 service stations nationwide. For affordable price, high performance, and high mileage, choose Guy Oil's Super 95 gasoline.
Fuel it up and drive.
Across the region tonight, Colombia's Congress has approved an $85.5 billion budget for 2023, increasing spending for education, health, and agriculture, amid promises by the leftist president Gustavo Petro to increase support for social programs. The 405.6 trillion peso figure for the bill, the highest budget in the country's history, was approved last month. Tuesday's vote enshrines spending for individual programs and ministries. Funding for education will rise by 10.3%, while the health sector will see a 19% increase. The agriculture sector, with the president wants to expand as part of a move away from oil and mining, will see 62.6% increase in funding. The defense sector will see a rise of 9.91%, while debt servicing will get its highest ever level of funding, reaching 77.9 trillion pesos. The bill received 71 votes in favor in the Senate, with 7 against, and 144 votes in the lower house, with 13 against. The funding uptick also incorporates required increases to public sector salaries and pensions, which must move in tandem with inflation. The United States has announced that it has offered critical emergency humanitarian assistance to the people of Cuba to recover from the devastation caused by Hurricane Ian, an unusual but not unprecedented move after years of bilateral tensions. The assistance includes $2 million in provisions and supplies that will be delivered through independent, non-governmental organizations that have experience and are already working on the island directly with the affected populations. The Associated Press reported that the move is responding to a disaster, with the U.S. saying that it is working with its international humanitarian partners. The emergency aid will be provided through trusted international partners like the Red Cross by way of the U.S. Agency for International Development, USAID. The announcement comes after Hurricane Ian hit the western part of the island in late September, causing extensive damage to the island's power grid. The hurricane left large swaths of Cuba with blackouts, fueling discontent on the Caribbean island, especially in rural areas where the blackouts are the worst. And finally tonight, international news. Sweden's new foreign minister has ditched the country's pioneering feminist foreign policy, saying the label has become more important than its content. But he said that the country will stand for gender equality. The previous left-wing government launched the policy in 2014, becoming the first in the world to put gender equality at the heart of its dealings with other nations. The self-labeled feminist government had ruffled feathers globally. The foreign minister announced a radical policy shift moments after Swedish Prime Minister Ulf Kristersson presented his new government appointments on Tuesday. The official said gender equality is a core value for Sweden and the government, but they will not conduct a feminist foreign policy. He said labels and things have a tendency to cover up the content. The online webpage for the government's foreign policy is no longer available in Sweden. And that's your News Source Evening Bulletin for tonight. I'm Gordon Mosley, reporting and encouraging you to stay safe.